What society do you want to live in? One that concentrates on how many things we have, or one that concentrates on relationships and caring for each other? I am John Hillier and connected with the charity Advocacy First. And I want to look at one of the ways that we could provide that care by providing advocacy for the vulnerable and elderly in our community. Advocacy is speaking on behalf of another. That is, giving that person a voice. Often, elderly and vulnerable people have to accept what they are told or what they are given because nobody has the time or the inclination to listen to them. An advocate is different and very special because they do give their time to the vulnerable. They listen and then do all they can to ensure that that person's views and wishes are acted upon. Today, I want to tell you a little about advocacy and also how you could train as a volunteer or in preparation of establishing your own advocacy unit in your community. Advocates listen to their client with empathy and care, and that is not easy. Often, our society progresses on with minimal concern for these people, and at times of financial restraint and cutbacks, the vulnerable groups are hit most by the reduced services. We will now consider two pieces of statistics. Firstly, today there are 10 million people in the UK who are 65 or over. In 20 years' time, in 2034, that number will be over 15 million. Secondly, last December, that's 2013, more than 70,000 bed days were lost in that 1 month because elderly people who were medically well were unable to leave hospital. They needed a proper care plan. They needed appropriate adaptations to their home. They needed advice on the care home they should go to. That problem is called bed blocking. As a volunteer, you could help your local hospital minimise the problem of bed blocking by representing those vulnerable elderly people. The charity that I'm concerned with is Advocacy First in Bromley. And since 1998, we have received funding from our local hospital to provide that service. Now consider the care services provided by our government. These have always been under pressure, particularly now due to financial restraints. The social services officer dealing with these vulnerable people has got a very, very heavy caseload and will feel under pressure to take the quickest and easiest solution to the problems that they have. I'm afraid this often means that those vulnerable people, fit enough to leave hospital, finish up being dumped in the nearest economical care home that has space. If you ask an elderly person where they want to live, the answer is, in my own home. And it's cheaper to look after a person in his or her own home compared with a care home. But of course, it takes time to organise that care package, to get the home adaptations done. And all of that time is not available to the social services people. However, you, as a volunteer, have got that time, could in fact make sure your client gets the services they need and gets the care they should have. We train our volunteers for about 2 days classroom theory and then as much time as they need, being accompanied, visiting clients until they feel confident to take on their own caseload. You can find out more about our training from the website www.advocacyfirst.org.uk. And if you are considering establishing your own organisation, then help is available on the internet. For example, www www.ctb.ku.edu. This website has a number of toolkits, including developing a plan for advocacy. Let's recap on some of the key points. Firstly, advocacy is being another person's voice. You listen with empathy. You report back to them. You involve them at every stage, and you try to achieve their desired outcomes. Secondly, you will need some training and practical experience before handling your own cases. That training is available, and there are also helpful websites if you wish to start your own advocacy unit. Help is only a few keystrokes away. Do not forget, you choose your society. Let it be one that has time for the vulnerable members.